Sometimes the best leadership happens when you step away for 10 minutes.
This is Back in 10.
We're going back to hiring for culture.
Yep.
You really need to make sure that if you have an open seat in your office, that you are not just filling it with a warm body, because you could also lose valuable team members from that. And that open seat is quickly going to turn into a revolving one. It's just that sucker's just going to be spinning because you didn't take the time to hire good people.
Mm-hmm. There's a leadership speaker, very knowledgeable businessman, Gary Vaynerchuk, and he has this whole segment on hire slow, fire fast.
Oh, yeah.
And this resounds with that. I
Mhm.
absolutely agree. Take your time when you are hiring, because that seat, you don't want to be that revolving door.
Right.
Because then when one door becomes revolving, then you have another. There comes a second. Oh wait, there's a third. And
Yeah.
but coming
And
back
actually,
to, go ahead.
I was going to say there's actually a statistic around that when you hire the wrong person, U.S. Department of Labor has a statistic around that. It's 30% of that person's first year salary. That's how much money you are wasting when you hire the wrong person. Yeah. Yep. I speak on this topic and talk about hiring a whole lot. So that statistic is like embedded into my noggin because it is so powerful.
We know a lot of you listening are in this situation right now with the hiring crisis in the dental industry. We totally understand that. And patience, a good team member will come. When you do your due diligence with making sure everything is in alignment with your culture and your ad and your marketing, that the team member, they will come. You have to look at other processes within the practice to accommodate the loss of a team member or the space you need filled. There are other opportunities.
And if you think about it too, if you have a toxic team member in your practice and you're going to let them go, and you met with everyone else on your team after you let them go, right? And say, look, I'm sorry that I did not stand up and do what I needed to do as a leader sooner. I know that I kept them too long because I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to find anyone to fill the position and that you guys would have to take on that burden of not having another team member. However, I felt that we're a team and we could do it. If we unite together, we can do it, because I really want to make sure that the next team member that I hire is one that's going to be here forever, just like you guys. So what can we do as a team, and what can I do to support you during this time? How impactful is that?
Huge.
You are transparent. You're saying, holy cow, I messed up. I'm sorry that I kept them here way too long. I kept them here too long. A lot of leaders are not willing to have that conversation, and it's a challenging one to have. However, your team is going to be more in line with you if you're honest and you just say, look, I was really worried I couldn't find someone. And it's a valid point. It's a valid point. So it's really important that you say that and you communicate that with them. I will say that your ad speaks volumes. And the reason why a lot of people right now are not able to find qualified, good people is because of their ads. They're just setting it and forgetting it.
Right. Well, their ads they're speaking at people rather than helping them to understand who you are. Rather than speaking to their soul, they're speaking to,
Yeah.
their brain.
Honestly, I have an analogy. I actually said this earlier on another podcast that when your ads turn into a job description, which the majority of them are right now, if you just do a search, the majority of them are a job description. It says like a hygienist with the qualifications, you have to be able to do scaling and root planing and hygienists should be able to do that. They have to be able to do that. So you do not need
Legally.
that in their ad, right? So when you do that, it's like showing up on a first date with wrinkled clothes. It is not a good first impression. It's not. So you really need to make sure that you're making your ad attractive.
Right.
Iron out those darn wrinkles and start looking in the mirror and figuring out what makes you great.
Yeah. You know
Be
what? Be
Go
what?
for it. Oh, I was gonna like you need to kind of boast about yourself a little bit and look and figure out what makes you awesome. Ask yourself that question. What makes you and your team awesome and so much better than the office down the street? And highlight those points.
And put your contact info, put your office website, if you can put your socials in there, put that in the description. It nothing annoys me more or red flags more than an ad where it says confidential. We're not going to tell you. We're not
Mm-mm.
going to tell you how much we're offering in terms of salary or hourly pay. We're not going to tell you where we're located.
Mm-mm.
That is just one, it's beyond annoying, but it creates a barrier like we talked
Mhm.
about.
Mhm.
But it does nothing. That says, what are they hiding? What are they hiding?
Mhm.
One thing that I absolutely love and I wish more practices did, when you're putting in these URLs into any job ad, create a private landing page within your website for hiring. That you can title the page, so you're thinking about working for us.
Mhm.
This is why we are who we are. And like Jen said, with having those hard conversations with your team and finding out why they like to work where they work, get that on video. Ask them if they'd be willing to do a testimonial for you as your employer,
Mhm.
especially to your tenured team members. If you have a team member who has been employed for 15 plus years and you don't have a video of them saying why they love working for the practice and what type of patients come through this practice, you're missing the boat.
Mhm.
You want to tell the story of your practice through the eyes of the team that's currently working there.
Yeah.
Not just an AI job description. You can certainly
Mhm.
utilize AI to help clean up your
Mhm.
job description, but you want your ad to tell your story
Mhm.
about your practice and most importantly, the culture. So create that private landing page. They can then, once they're there and they look at everything you have to offer, it links right to the rest of the website. Boom,
Mhm.
transparency. Let me look and see the services they offer. What kind of technology is in this practice? That
Yeah.
is something that I see so underutilized when it comes
Mhm.
to hiring is, like you said, boasting. But be proud of your
Mhm.
practice, be proud of who you are and what you've built and
Yeah.
the patient care that you provide to your community.
Yeah. So there's two things that I wrote down because I wanted to make sure I said them. So I think for me, there's one difference that you and I have in regards to our philosophy on ads and putting the monetary compensation.
Mhm.
I do not recommend putting compensation on there. I always have said, if it's commission, if it's hygiene, or if it is, compensation based on experience and expertise or different things like that,
Mhm.
because there are people out there that will look at your ad and go to their current employer and say, look at what they're offering.
Mhm.
Or they'll come and they'll interview for you just to say that they interviewed with you because you were offering more money than where they are now. That's one thing that I found more recent in the last few years, and I'll just say it's ugly. It's not a good thing to do. I
Mhm.
highly encourage people, if you are not happy where you are, if you're looking for job, advancement, absolutely go on the interview. But just using it for that, right? Obviously, if you're going to go, you're going to find out what it is. But if you're just doing it for that, it's not a good look, right? I have seen that a lot more recently, I'll say, for people that are just looking for the grass is greener, which is really unfortunate. And the other thing, just to talk about what you had said about having it on the website, so impactful, having that on there. And I've was on a website recently, and right when I went to their homepage, it came up, there was a pop-up that said, we're hiring, and it said what positions they were hiring for. It's like,
Love it.
hallelujah. And when you clicked on it, it brought you to their landing page, but it came up the first time you went to their website, it came up, which was phenomenal. And I think, look, when we're talking about boasting, I saw something on, I can't remember what it was, on one of the social channels recently, that there is an artist out there. He had 2 women. He never looked at them physically. He sat back to back and he said, okay, I want you to describe yourself. And as you describe yourself, I'm going to draw you. Did you see this? You? We send each other a lot of stuff on social, so I need to find this and send this to you. Man, if someone only saw our comments. Yeah, our DMs. Woohoo. So if he asked them to describe themselves. So he sat back to back, and one of the women said, you know, my hair is shorter, but it's really kind of frizzy. Like I haven't been able to keep up with it, and I'm tired, but you know, my eyes are blue and I kind of have wrinkles around my eyes, like I'm aging, and said all of these things about herself.
Yeah.
So he drew that picture. Then he had the other woman do the same exact thing. And then the 2 women met each other and they had a conversation and they chatted together, and then he switched. So he had one woman describe the other. And the amazing thing was the other woman had said that she was tired, where the woman that she had just met said she has a radiant smile and she's beautiful. And oh my gosh, I love her hair and it's curly, and said all of these amazing qualities, and then put the 2 pictures side by side. And he said, this is how you described yourself. And this is how someone else described you. So sometimes it's just a point, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it is a point of looking in the mirror or asking someone else, asking for support, asking your team. Don't try to do everything on your own. Ask the people that are around you or hire someone to help you with that, right? Look at those things and say, okay, what makes us great? And put that out there. That's how you're going to hire for the culture that you already have and the culture that you want.
100% agree with you, Jen. I think our culture on our podcast is nothing short of entertaining and intellectual.
And sometimes a little spicy.
The wizard.
I love it. So on that note, I think we can clock out for this one.
Thanks for spending a few minutes with us on Back in 10.
If something made you laugh, nod, or feel a little more human, share it with a friend and make sure that you're subscribed.
You can also follow us on Instagram at Back in 10 Pod for more behind the scenes, updates, and probably a little chaos.
We're not here to have it all figured out. We're just here to tell you the things that we wish someone had told us.
And remind you that leadership doesn't have to be perfect, just real.
We'll be back in 10.